Well, good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Love Not Fear. I'm Jack Cox, author of Love Not Fear, and I'm with my gorgeous co-host, Annie Day, author of
Orgasmic Health and your guide to feeling fabulous fast.
Right, today we're going to be talking about beliefs, how the things we believe can affect the things we expect to happen in our lives, and as a result, the things we actually allow to happen in our lives.
Indeed.
The things we believe in and which are important to us, they influence the way we think, feel, and act. If we believe that we are rotten parents, for example, this belief will cause us to expect to be bad parents, and as a result, we may become bad parents. Of course, if we're aware that we have a difficulty in this area, we can work to improve our skills. And as a result of this improvement over time, we will find that our belief on the subject will change. The same applies to any area of our lives.
Yeah.
If we are aware of a thing, we can change it.
Yeah.
We are only powerless as long as we remain unaware.
Indeed. Once we're able to acknowledge it, then the universe conspires to help us to do something positive about it, to change it, doesn't it?
Yeah, what was it that Carl Jung said? Until you make the unconscious conscious, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will continue to direct your life and you will call it fate.
Yeah.
We all have limiting beliefs about ourselves, often arising in the most oblique ways, and most of us are still carrying them around, often unaware that we are doing so, beliefs that stem from our childhood. These types of beliefs usually operate in the background, beyond our conscious awareness.
Yeah.
We may be totally unaware of them. And because of this, we behave in limiting ways without even realizing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How
We dim our light, don't we?
How many of us do this? I know I do. As long as we remain unaware of it, the belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, holding us back.
Yeah.
So where do these beliefs come from? Beliefs which seem so immutable to us are nothing more than thoughts that we have had over and over again for a long time.
Absolutely, darling.
Often based on our early life experiences.
Yeah, and conditioning.
Yeah, conditioning from our parents, our teachers, our school friends.
Yeah.
Ideas occur to us about who we are and what our relationship is to the rest of the world.
Yeah, indeed.
We can believe the world is mean, or the world is plotting to do us good today. It's our choice. Through repetition, these thoughts forge semi-hardwired neural pathways in the brain. In other words, they become beliefs. We don't consciously choose these beliefs. We just...
Oh, Jack, the screen's doing something very odd.
Oh.
Can you see it's doing Andrew, then you, then me, then... Oh, stop now.
It did this last week too, didn't it?
I don't know quite what it's up to.
In
but
fact,
I thought I'd tell you.
The reason I added so many pictures to the show we did last week is to cover up the screen flashing.
Oh, right. I don't know why it's doing it, but yeah, it's just started doing something weird. But it seems to have righted itself. It's obviously changed its belief system that it has to do this all night. That's my take on this. It's gone up. All right, then I'll stop doing that now and do something
well, let me know
more
if it happens.
helpful.
Let me know if it happens again, Annie.
Okay, sugar, will.
It's all the fun of this show, isn't it? It's so it's
It
so
is.
raw and unprofessional.
Or you could say unplugged. A lot of the greatest artists do unplugged versions, don't they? So we'll say this is the unplugged version.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, it's doing it again, Jack. Naughty little. Oh, it stopped again.
It only seems to happen when I'm doing I've got the other screen up to read my notes.
Ah. Have you got your notes on your phone or any other way of doing it?
No, not that.
I'm sorry.
Aren't you?
Sorry, I was coming up with a solution, possible solution. Right, just carry on then. We'll just have one screen when it feels like it.
Basically, Annie, I need a new computer.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we just need the universe to send you one then.
Or maybe the computer needs a new me.
No, it's not operator error. This is just the computer doing something very strange. Have a little dance.
Right. So we don't consciously choose these beliefs. We just soak them up.
Yeah.
From our life experiences when we're too young to have an effective way of evaluating them.
Indeed. These
beliefs of dubious validity. I like that one. Beliefs of dubious validity become core components of how we see other people, the world, and ourselves.
Indeed.
And as such, they determine our actions and our reactions to life.
Yes.
Unless we choose to become aware of them and change them.
Yes, indeed.
We can change them.
We can change them. We have the power.
We're going to be talking a lot more about that later on.
We are indeed.
Major negative emotional experiences often create beliefs that are not resourceful to us. They also lead us to focus on what we do not want.
Yeah.
And as we discussed a couple of weeks ago, a month ago on this show, that ain't a good thing to do.
No, because whatever we keep thinking about, that's where our energy goes to, and it will manifest what we don't want, not what we do want. So we have to kind of, make sure that we're in charge of the genie in the bottle, not the genie in the bottle in charge of us going, oh, you want some more of that, do you?
I will just say that we're joined here tonight by Andrew Paul Smith, who is a professional life coach. So if you want to chip in on anything, Andrew, just feel free to unmute yourself and chip in.
I was just thinking of that Albert Einstein quote that you've probably never heard of, because I hadn't heard it until I got into the coaching. Make it big, because I'll put my glasses on. Don't be so vain, Andrew.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting a different outcome.
No, it's not that one. It's few people. Let me bring it over here. Few people are incapable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. And I use that quote when I'm talking about the self-fulfilling prophecy, that you start off with negative beliefs, that leads to negative expectations, and then that takes you down into self-defeating behavior. You get a poor outcome, and that gives you more reason to believe the negative belief in the first place. However, if you have positive beliefs, you have positive expectations, you have self-motivating behavior as a result, and an excellent outcome. So that's the way we want to go. Failure equals failure, but success equals success. So let me read that quote again for you, Albert Einstein. Few people are incapable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions.
Well,
think
we've
it's
seen
brilliant, that
a
one.
lot of that the
Thank
last
you.
couple of years, haven't we?
Indeed. It's also called cognitive dissonance, isn't it?
Yeah. Since the mind takes whatever we focus on as an instruction to create or attract more of it,
Yeah.
focusing on what we don't want is a losing proposition.
Mm-hmm.
People who have had painful experiences, charged with high emotion, and that's pretty much all of us,
Yeah.
may create a generalization that the world is a potentially dangerous place. Quite naturally, they feel that they must avoid the danger in the future. To do so, they have to focus on it, since focusing on anything gives the mind the instructions to create more of it. Such people end up getting the very things that they're trying so hard to avoid.
Yeah.
What's the saying? That which I feared has come upon me.
Indeed.
Unless you can break the pattern, this will go on over and over and over and over again for the rest of your life. Is that really what you want? No, of course not.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But you can overcome this by deliberately changing your focus to what you really do want.
Indeedy.
When you notice yourself remembering your past traumas, immediately change your focus to the conditions that you do want to have in your life right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just takes a bit of mental discipline. It's so easy when we start remembering hard times, bad times, painful times, to wallow in it, doesn't it? And stay there for hours. It's a case of having the mental discipline to snap out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Go for a walk in nature.
This takes willpower and practice, but over time, by constant repetition, the synapses of your brain will form new circuits.
Yeah, and make deeper neural pathways so that when you start doing that, going down the rabbit hole negative thing, it goes, whoa, and then goes, what if this is just the beginning of a new adventure? What if this is all going to work out for my highest good? So yes, spot on, Jack.
Yeah, this is probably the most useful habit that you'll ever acquire. And I must say that I'm still struggling with it after all these years. And after teaching it for many years, and I'm still struggling with it. But I'm getting better.
Well, I think that learning to be an NL practitioner by the lovely, I'm going to show their book early, but I am going to show it later as well. So this is the lovely Tony Burgess and Julie French. So it's beliefs and how to change them for good. And I think it was really pivotal in my development spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, because they rewarded me for being me. They went, oh, I've just caught you doing that lovely thing that you do when you smile, even when you've just tripped down the stairs or whatever. And so I think that it really helped me. And also learning to Haven was pivotal in me being able to not only help myself, but help so many other people as well.
Well,
So we're blessed, aren't we? We're blessed.
I will put the link below in the description
Okay,
on the YouTube version of this video, as I always do.
Indeed, you do.
And that's one book I'm going to have to acquire for myself.
I think so. You'll love it. It's written in a very easily to understand, easily read. What shall I say? The format of it is really easy to get your head around, basically, and it's not a huge book. It's only a little tiny weeny book.
Brilliant, brilliant.
But very, very potent, I would say.
As Henry David Thoreau put it, a single footstep will not make a path on the earth. So a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind. To make a deep physical path, we walk again and again. To make a deep mental path, we must think over and over the kind of thoughts we wish to dominate our lives.
Yay.
Good one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about, isn't it?
we can supplement this by asking ourselves, how can I type questions?
Mm.
For instance, if you find yourself focusing on being in debt, you might find yourself making internal pictures, internal representations, as we talked about last month, and having internal dialogue about owing money and being poor.
Or you could say something completely different and drag yourself out of it and go, or it could be that I have great avalanches of prosperity coming to me now. Because it's just as easy to imagine an avalanche of prosperity as it is the bailiffs coming to the door. It doesn't require any more, it doesn't require any more energy, does it?
But the way we can use how can I type questions to break out of it, we can ask ourselves things like, how can I create enough money to pay my way and create some significant wealth in my life? Then start to daydream about how great it will feel to be prosperous.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. It's no good just doing your affirmations.
Yeah, you've got to really feel that you've got that.
Really feel it.
Yes, indeed.
And check back on the show we did last month about havening and all that stuff. It was really, really good. Annie shared some brilliant information with us.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Decide what you want and then ask yourself how to get it. This focuses your mind on what you want. You will begin to make internal representations of what you want and how to get it. And as a result, you will get some ideas. As soon as you get a workable idea, act on it. Don't wait until you've worked out all the details. Just get into motion.
Yeah. Just start it now.
The rest of the path will be illuminated gradually as you go along. Just be open to feedback. I just want to say a little bit about feedback. There's this crazy thing that's happened in the last, I don't know, 10 years probably. People have got this idea that feedback is hate. No, it's not. Feedback is love.
Why would they think it was hate? I don't understand you.
People do. They say, oh, someone criticizes what they're doing. They say, oh, I've got a hater. You hear it all the time on social media. No, you haven't.
Perhaps nobody bothers to hate me.
No, you haven't.
I've never heard this before.
You've got a source of feedback. Welcome it. Be grateful to it.
And if the hat fits, wear it, my dad used to say. Anybody who criticises, if the hat fits, wear it. And if it doesn't, go, it's not my hat. Simple as.
Yeah, it's this whole snowflake generation thing, isn't it? That any criticism, they think it's hate.
Well, maybe it's just called honest evaluation, and it gives you an opportunity if you are doing something that isn't congruent and authentic with who you are and what you are. Maybe it just gives you the opportunity to do something different.
Yeah, feedback is the most valuable thing you can give anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honest feedback.
Yeah, indeed.
But it's only valuable to them if they've got the sense and the balls to learn from it.
Yeah,
instead of pushing it away and calling it hate.
That's not hate. It's just called evaluation or feedback.
By focusing in this way, you'll begin to notice resources that you didn't notice before. You begin to draw on internal resources you didn't even know you had, such as persistence.
Jack, it's doing that funky thing again.
Funky thing. It's doing its funky thing.
I don't want to be too critical of it and be a hater.
It's doing its funky thing.
But it's doing some funky stuff where it's swapping backwards and forwards and stuff. It's stopped now.
Seems to have stopped. We're just going to have to make do with it. This show.
It's fine.
I'm not going to go back and edit it. It took me a week to edit the last one. So
okay, fair enough.
It is what it is. And if anyone don't like it, they can donate
You know
a
what? I
new
do
laptop.
dislike that phrase. It is what it is, because people use it all the time when there's much more opulent, eloquent language they can use. It is what it is. No.
Well,
So
if you
Jack
don't,
Cox, please refrain from saying that.
well, if you don't like my flashing screen, donate me a new computer.
Okay, fair enough. I'll see
Don't
if I can find you a donatable computer, Jack Cox.
Where were we? You will also find yourself being motivated to take inspired action.
Yeah.
Action is a vital part of the process that some people seem to leave out. Sometimes your mind will immediately generate answers to the questions you ask. At other times, you may have to ask the question many times, over days, weeks, months. The more you practice asking and listening, the quicker the answers will come.
Indeed.
Our beliefs are the things we hold to be true, whether they really are true or not.
Yeah, exactly.
What we believe has a powerful effect on how our lives unfold.
So true.
Now, I'm going to quote from Gill Edwards' excellent book, Living Magically. And I'll put the link to that in the description.
Jack, it's doing that funky thing again.
Oh, God. Frankie, we'll just have to let it go.
To make it sound something good.
We're just going to have to let it be, I'm afraid.
Okay, you did tell me to tell you when it was doing it, so that's what I'm doing.
There's nothing I can do about it.
Okay, well, I won't tell you again then.
It happened last week. It happened this week. So something weird's happening with this computer. Right, Gill Edwards' excellent book, Living Magically, and I will put the description, the link below.
Okie dokie.
Have you read it, Annie?
No.
Andrew? Right, let's imagine two people. I'm quoting from Gill's book now.
Go on then, go for it.
Imagine two people, Joy and Gloom, who visit London one weekend. The first visitor, Joy, experiences a wonderland of historical sites, museums, parks, theatres, shops, and entertainment. A city full of friendly, smiling, and colourful people.
Yay!
Gloom, on the other hand, sees a noisy, grimy city with crowded underground stations, overpriced restaurants, and jostling strangers and mournful faces. They both visited the same city, perhaps went to the same places.
Exactly. It's all about perspective.
But spent the same amount of money.
Indeed.
But Joy had a marvellous time, while Gloom was thoroughly miserable from start to finish.
Well.
Why? The secret lies in their belief system.
Yeah.
Joy holds the following beliefs. Cities are exciting places to be. People are genuinely friendly and helpful. Life is to be enjoyed to the full.
Yay!
Gloom, in contrast, believes that cities are horrible places to be.
I love this alter ego.
Life's a burden, but we have to struggle on. How many people have you met like that?
They're not like that for very long with me, strangely enough, because I just
that's good.
I just take them out of that.
No wonder they experienced a different London. While standing in the same street, Joy would notice the creative window displays, the smiling faces, hear the laughter, and smell the roasted chestnuts on the street corner. While Gloom would see the traffic, the litter,
Yeah, we got the picture.
The
He's a miserable bugger.
Hear the honking horns and smell the exhaust fumes.
Oh dear. He's determined to be miserable, isn't he?
They live in quite different worlds. Of course, all those things were really there. The sound of laughter and the sound of traffic.
Yeah.
The smell of roasted chestnuts and exhaust fumes. What affected the happiness of the trip for each of them was which version of reality they chose to focus their attention on. And that was determined by the internal map of reality, and especially their beliefs, which govern their expectations.
Yay!
Of course, for most people, it's not a choice because it's unconscious. That's why it's so important to bring it all out into the open and direct these things consciously with awareness. Gill Edwards goes on to explain. However, it isn't just their perceptions and responses that are affected by their beliefs. Creating our own reality goes much deeper than that. We create every experience we have. We attract certain people and events because of our belief system.
Yeah, it affects our health, it affects our mental health, it affects our spirituality, our emotional stasis, and everything in between. So it's very important to focus and believe in goodness.
Joy would have been drawn towards the shops and restaurants which had friendly, helpful staff, while gloom would bump into those that were stern and morose.
Yeah.
Joy would happen across the unexpected delight of a street theatre or a parade, while gloom might attract muggers and crooked salespeople, or even witness a street fight. Both would return home believing that they were right. London really is a wonderful, terrible place. Our beliefs are not based on our experiences, but vice versa. Our experiences are created by our beliefs.
Indeed.
So now you see why it's so vital that we master our beliefs and use them to create what we want in life. In order to do so, we must first become aware of them.
Yeah.
Then we can go inside ourselves and watch how they generate what happens
Indeed.
in our lives and how they work from the inside to the outside. I mean, so many people have had really crummy experiences, and we speak for all of us here. But
you know what I believe, Jack? I believe that every single heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, horrible, challenging thing that's happened to me has made me the magnificent goddess I am today. Without any of those, I wouldn't be me, and I wouldn't be able to help people in the way that I am. So I never see it as negative. I've talked before about things that have happened to me that you know, I could have dwelled on, I could have stayed in that pain and grief. And instead of which I went, okay, so what can I do in this moment? So we've always got the power to change this. Our worst fear is that whatever the universe throws at us, we won't be able to handle it. And that's not true. So what I do loads and loads of times every day is whatever happens, I'll handle it. Because I know I've got the resources inside me to deal with anything, however painful and heartbreaking. And we just need to remind ourselves that we've already survived 100% of our worst days.
Absolutely.
Every single worst day, we've already survived all that already. So
I wouldn't undo any of the things I've been through.
No, nor me.
Because if I did, I wouldn't be who I am now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I actually happen to like who I am now.
Yeah, and me. I'm really fond of Annie Day. I think she's bloody wonderful.
So now you see why it's so vital that we master our beliefs and use them to create what we want in life.
Yeah.
In order to do so, we must first become aware of them. then we can go inside ourselves and watch how they generate what happens in our lives and how they work. From the, I've already read that, haven't I?
Yeah, you are.
I'm repeating myself.
Okay. Do you want me to do a bit, or do you want to carry on reading?
If you've got a bit to chuck in, yes, please.
Common core values that we need to be aware of are...
Annie, can I just say, is it possible? Because I think we're going to go well over time. Is it possible that we can do core values next week?
Well, it's part of our belief system, isn't it? As far as I'm aware.
All right, go for it.
Okay. So common core values, which do comprise our belief systems, is loyalty, spirituality, humility, compassion, honesty, kindness, integrity, selflessness, empathy, attentiveness, self-reliance, courage, altruism, appreciation, determination, and generosity. So when we were born, this is repeating some of what you've said, we enter this world with a clean slate without any preconceived beliefs. We are impressionable and look for meaning in almost everything because we are naturally inquisitive and curious. Our parents and environment play a big part in moulding our beliefs from a very young age. Our school environment, our friends also play an important part. Because we are unable to discern between truth and falsehood at this age, we often accept what we are told as truth. For example, let's say that you don't finish your lunch because you're not hungry. If your parents scold you for leaving food on your plate and tell you that good children always finish their food, they also might tell you that you're being ungrateful for not finishing your food because there are starving children in other parts of the world. We've all been told this as kids, without doubt. If you take what your parents say to be true, you now have planted a seed of belief. You start to believe that good children always eat every single thing that is on their plate. And that if you don't do that, you're being ungrateful. Each time you do not finish your food and are chastised by your parents for it, the more firmly ingrained the beliefs becomes. Do you remember when your parents told you about the existence of Santa or the Tooth Fairy? I certainly do. I assumed what my parents told me was fact, and I did believe in both Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, and that is how beliefs are formed when we are young and impressionable. When we get older and start to attend school and meet new friends, our beliefs start to get influenced by a whole new environment and set of people. Our teachers tell us things that we accept as fact because they're in a position of authority. For example, let's say that we do poorly in our math class. Our teacher might tell us that we're not very good at math or that we're lazy. We then start believing what we are told, especially if the experience is repeated more than once. Again, we're really deepening those neural pathways, aren't we? And before long,
repetition.
Yeah, absolutely. Before long, we start believing that we truly are bad at maths and that we are lazy. We're also greatly influenced by our classmates in school. Let's assume that you were bullied by other kids. I'll put my hands up to that. They might continue telling you that you were fat, ugly. The big one for me was that I was mad. So they told me all the time that I was mad or weird. And after a while, you do believe that you're mad and weird. Yeah. And unfortunately, in the way my life has evolved, being mad and weird is just exactly right for what I do for a living.
we wouldn't have you any other way, Annie. That's why we love you.
So when we accept something to be fact and form a belief, it is stored in our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind doesn't know or care if that belief is true or false. So a limiting belief is, I need to be wealthy to be happy. The empowering belief that we could change it to is, I can choose to be happy no matter what my circumstances.
Absolutely. Yeah, happiness is an inside job.
It so is.
It's got
You know,
nothing to do
Viktor
with
Frankl,
circumstances.
Viktor Frankl was a survivor of the Holocaust, and he said that everybody can change anything about you except your state of mind. So it is an inside job. It is an inside job. A limiting belief is my body type is such that I cannot lose weight no matter what I do. An empowering belief is I can be slim and healthy if I exercise and eat right. The limiting belief is I will never be successful until I've got a master's degree or whatever exam it is that you think you've got to have to be doing what you need to be doing. But the empowering belief, my success is determined by how hard I work rather than any educational level.
Yeah.
The limiting belief, I cannot start a business because I don't have the capital. The empowering belief that it could be changed to is I can start a business by meeting the right people. The limiting belief, I am ugly and unappealing. I'm not, by the way, universe, nor do I think any of us are.
You're gorgeous,
just saying. And the empowering belief is I am attractive and desirable.
Mm-hmm.
The limiting belief is I am too old to do something. Whereas the empowering belief, my age means that I have the experience and wisdom to do anything I choose. That's so much more joyful and juicy than the disempowering one. So those are just a few examples. Remember, we tend to do everything possible to validate and reinforce our beliefs. That's what you said earlier, isn't it?
Yeah.
We will think, feel, and act accordingly. This is called your self-fulfilling prophecy. That is how powerful our beliefs are. Now you understand why it's so important to examine our beliefs, something that most people haven't done frequently. We know that people do occasionally, but it isn't perhaps what we do on a regular basis, and we need to.
Yeah, I did a show before you joined us, Annie, a couple of years ago, about triggers.
Yeah.
And how triggers are, we need to be very grateful for our triggers.
Yeah, it reminds you that you're not healed.
They're bringing things up so that we can evaluate them and heal them.
Yeah, absolutely. Without doubt.
They're bringing things to our awareness.
Attention. Yeah, absolutely. They're blessings, aren't they? They really are. So it is also very important to identify our limiting beliefs so that we can start replacing them with empowering ones. After all, why would we want to live with these limiting and constraining beliefs that hold us back, make us unhappy, and prevent us from exploiting our full potential? Our minds delete, distort, and generalize new information automatically.
Yeah,
they do. We take bits out of it, we add bits in that weren't actually said. Yeah. So the antidote to this is to adopt helpful beliefs. So one of the things that I recommend as an NLP practitioner is try doing helpful what-ifing.
Say that again.
So try doing helpful what-ifing. So what if this is a blessing in disguise? What if this is much easier than I think? What if I've already got all the resources I need to do this? What if I just need to take that first baby step? What if this is just the start of a new adventure? Yes. What if I've already got all the resources within me to do this? What if, and this is one of my favorite ones, I'll catch myself getting in my own way. What if this is just me getting in my own way? I'm running ahead of myself, and then I go, oh, maybe I should stop doing that and just stand still for a bit. So what ifing, it's got so many applications. You can apply it to any area of your life, anything that's coming up. So instead of doing that unhelpful belief system, do what if this is so much easier than I think it's going to be? what if this is just, I need to start the baby step? What if I just need to start it right now? Because sometimes just the overthinking of it is what keeps us stagnating, doesn't it?
You know, overthinking kills things.
It does.
It it causes more failure. I don't know what you think about this, Andrew, but I think that overthinking causes probably 90% of our problems.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, if you're somebody who's constantly delving into what went wrong, then maybe you're right. But if you were looking into why things might work out, then I don't think you can overthink that. I think that is a good thing to do.
You can what if as much as you like.
Yeah.
So I said this earlier, but I'm going to keep repeating it, is remember, you have already survived all your worst days. Affirm to yourself repeatedly, whatever happens today, I'll handle it. We're told that people are scared of ill health, they're scared of dying, they're scared of, really, the core is whatever comes up, I won't be able to handle it. Universe, I don't mean that, I know I will. So I think that it's really important to keep affirming repeatedly to yourself, whatever happens, I will handle it. And again, it's feel the fear and do it anyway. That I've had that from Suzanne Jeffers. So change, whatever happens today, I'll handle it. Change your what if statements into affirmations. So instead of saying, for example, what if this is just the start of a new adventure, would become, this is the start of my new adventure. And of course we could haven it.
We could.
This is the start of my new adventure. This is the start of my new adventure. This is the start of my new adventure. And one of the
details on havening, look at the show we did in December.
Indeed, and somebody's told me there's a YouTube video as well of somebody actually doing it. So I would say one of the great ways that we've talked about this previously of changing negative beliefs into positive affirmations and really locking them in is to do havening. So you start by gently stroking from your shoulders to your wrists. Then you do the inside of your hands very gently. And then you do the side of your face. So whatever affirmation you're saying, if you really want to lock it in, this is a great NLP havening technique. So do you want me to say something about NLP or do you want me to not?
No, go for it, yeah.
So NLP can be used for personal development, releasing fears and phobias.
Want to tell people what it is first?
I'm going to explain what the words mean next.
Yeah.
Okay. So for releasing fears, phobias, and for helping you to achieve your maximum personal and professional potential. NLP is the practice of understanding how we organize our thinking, feelings, language, and behavior to produce the results and behaviors we do. NLP can provide us with a methodology to model outstanding performances achieved by leaders in their field who model excellence. A key element.
Just for those who don't know, NLP stands for neuro-linguistic.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell them next.
All right.
Okay, I did say I was going to say it next. So a key element of NLP is that we form our unique internal mental maps of the world as a product of the way we filter, interpret, and perceive information absorbed through our five senses from the world around us. So what does NLP mean? Neuro means each individual can establish their own unique mental filtering system for processing the millions of pieces of data being absorbed through their senses in each second. Our first mental map of the world consists of internal images, sounds, tactile awareness, internal sensations, tastes and smells that are formed a result of our neurological filtering process. Linguistic We may then assign our own personal meaning to the information being received from the world outside of us. We then form our second mental map by assigning language to the internal images, sounds and feelings, tastes and smells which form our everyday conscious awareness. The second mental map is called the linguistic map. Programming. This is the behavioral response that occurs as a result of our complex neurological filtering processes and the subsequent linguistic map, which is then formed. Woo-woo. So the origins of NLP is that it began its life in the 1970s when a professor from the University of California called John Grinder teamed up with an undergraduate, Richard Bandler. Both had a fascination with human excellence, which charted a path for them to model behavioral patterns of selected masters of excellence. Modeling is one of the core activities in NLP, and it's the process of replicating the language structure and behavioral patterns of individuals who are excellent at a given activity. So one of the things that I was asked to do many years ago for the lovely Julie French and Tony Burgess was they wanted me. I am a master of belly dancing. We'll have to do a class on belly dancing on here, Jack.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what they asked me to do was to go and to belly dance and to keep repeating the same moves over and over again, while the other students who were practitioners at that time, so that they could actually master it, because that's the best way of mastering it, is by seeing it over and over again and then making it your own, basically. So what could NLP help you with? Changing unwanted thoughts and feelings. This could include post-traumatic stress syndrome, any fears or phobias, again using a different aspect of havening. You could empower yourself to reframe the past and anticipate a brighter future by helping to use your inner remote control, putting your powerful imagination to good use. So when you've got a sad or recurrent negative time of your life, you can turn the volume down, you can make it black and white, which takes some of the sting out of it. And then you can imagine another television screen where you turn up the colour and you turn up the volume with lots of giggling and laughing and happy sounds in this new system that you've created. You can establish.
That is a very, very powerful technique.
Pardon?
That is a very powerful technique.
Isn't it? It's really, and it's just so potent as well, isn't it? It really is. Effectively replaying events from different perspectives for maximizing your learning and development. This helps you to strengthen your sense of identity and self-worth. It helps you to get out of your own way more easily, helps you to release any phobias, traumas, or other unhelpful triggers, as you've said, and baggage, giving you the skills to have more purposeful, helpful conversations by harnessing the power of effective, positive language. It can give you access to your own magnificent resourcefulness and to feel more in the driving seat of your life, showing you how to experience more joy, contentment, inner peace, confidence, gratitude, love, compassion, patience, determination, and general well-being in your life. I like the sound of that, don't you, Jack?
Have a pint of that, please.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll have a litre, actually. Never mind a pint. By doing these NLP things, your skill, you will, let me try again. You will uncover more of your skills, choices, and options for yourself, allowing you to generate and to create a better future whilst choosing better meanings that keep you as resourceful as possible. So in the past, when I've been working with people, they've said, but I've always believed that, Annie, you don't understand. I've always believed that. I've always believed that. And I've just said, is that helpful or unhelpful? We don't know whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, whether it's a negative emotion or not. Is that helpful to you to remain with that belief? Because if it isn't, let's change it. And just the act of going through the statements that they believe have always been true and are going to be true, just going, is that helpful or unhelpful? They've gone,
the big shift
no, actually,
occurs.
it's not helpful.
The big shift occurs with a lot of people when they stop thinking about beliefs as being either true or false.
Yeah.
And start to think about beliefs as being resourceful
Helpful
or unresourceful.
or unhelpful. Yeah, exactly. Because actually, it might be helpful for you to believe a particular belief because it helps you to be stalwart and it helps you to be strong and courageous about your future. But also, it could be that it's not helping you, in which case, just the fact of you going, is that helpful for me or isn't it helpful? Just because I've always believed that doesn't mean to say that it is definitely helpful. So just by doing that reframe and saying, is that helpful or is that not helpful, I think can make a big difference. And also, most of my patients love doing what if first.
And please don't write in and say rocks are hard and ice is cold, because we're not talking about those kind of beliefs. We're talking about the more esoteric kind of beliefs.
So yeah, that's about it really, other than I would suggest that whenever you start feeling yourself going down that spiral to negative thinking, just get yourself out of it. Just remember that you've already surpassed all your worst days, and whatever happens, I'll handle it. Just keep telling yourself, because that is our worst fear, that something will come along and we won't know how to deal with it, when actually we're very resourceful, magnificent beings. So we will always be able to handle whatever comes along.
Well, I just want to add that the NLP techniques, and there are a lot of them, they take quite a bit of learning, but they're very, very powerful.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go to the effort of learning them, it might be better to work with a qualified practitioner such as
Yeah,
Andrew.
absolutely, darling.
Do you offer NLP as well, Andrew?
I've tried to avoid NLP. I think it gets, like you were saying there, a little bit convoluted, a bit deep, and that I might enjoy that kind of thing myself, but whether somebody else would. I was just thinking about the tabletop example. The tabletop is the belief that we have, and then we have all these reference legs that hold up the belief. So we might have a belief like, I make friends easily, and then that's supported by, I went to a great party and lots of wonderful people. People tell me I'm talkative and outgoing. I have seen people laugh when I talk to them, not at me, but with me. So you've got this tabletop of a belief. Now, if that belief is helping you, then that's great.
Yeah, it is.
And the more reference legs that you can have that hold that belief in place, the more secure it is. However, if it's not working for you, that's what the esoteric type belief that we're talking about here. If it's not working for you, then you've got to destabilize those reference legs. You've got to find out what isn't working, why it isn't working, and then find out why these reference legs aren't true. You might have believed them all your life, but if they're not working for you, then you've got to establish a new positive belief that's going to help you. So you can make a belief out of anything, a tabletop out of anything, and then find all the reference legs to hold it up. So that's part of the coaching process that I would use. I would go through a person's own personal experience to find reference slides that would hold up a belief that would help them to get where they want to go. But the great thing about beliefs, and it was quite an aha moment for me when I finally accepted, because I argued against it, that you can believe anything that you want to. And if you want to believe something because it'll help you to get where you're going, you can dismiss that belief after you've got where you wanted to go, and install new beliefs that'll help you to get to the next step along the way.
And just think of all the crazy beliefs people have, and they're absolutely convinced that they've got aliens living in their fridge or whatever it is, you know, and you can't convince them otherwise. So if you can do that with something as crazy as that, you can do it with beliefs that can actually help you get what you want in life.
Absolutely, without doubt.
So the first thing is to identify the belief.
Yeah.
And then to change it, either using the technique that Andrew just described,
or get a seed affirmation, or do what ifing. Or turn
affirmations are good but they probably take a long time.
But not if you're having them, Jack Cox.
Affirmations with havening, as I was going to say. Get my own back now. Is a much quicker way of changing your beliefs with affirmations.
Absolutely.
Because as we've said, affirmations are only beliefs that only thoughts you've thought over and over again.
Yeah.
So
the more repetitive, the more it ingrains those neural pathways. And
then, as Annie said, there's all these wonderful NLP techniques that we can use, and it may well be worthwhile working with Annie or another qualified practitioner.
Sure.
On those.
Yeah. So these are my lovely teachers. So beliefs and how to change them for good. Tony Burgess and Julie French. And I was very, very blessed that they were my teachers in 2006, maybe.
Okay.
I was very, very blessed. And also that Tony had just learnt the havening technique. So not only did I become an NLP practitioner, but I also learnt havening as well, which has been an absolute massive, massive blessing personally, but and professionally as well.
All the links will be in the description.
Thank you, lovely Jack Cox.
I think next week, if you're up for it, Annie.
Yippee.
Because we've only scratched the surface of this week. I'm only halfway through my notes.
How are you? Oh, bugger. Well, it's already 7:35 according to my.
So maybe we can do part 2 next week. Go and delve into it a bit more deeply.
If you want to.
Because this is such a brilliant subject to deal with.
Yeah.
And it can help so many people.
Yeah.
Right. What am I talking about on Friday, Annie?
Have you spoken to Mark?
No, he's not been in touch.
Oh, you were supposed to get in touch with him. He's already given you his number. So it's Mark Smethurst, and Mark Smethurst would love to talk about flotation. So he's got a place called Time to Float, and it's in Stafford Town Centre. He's got 3 pods currently, but it's got so many benefits. In fact, I could probably. I'll resend you his number, Jack, and his email.
And his email address, please.
Yeah, I've got all of that. So what is floating good for? Stress, fibromyalgia, PTSD, insomnia, jet lag, consciousness exploration, magnesium deficiencies, inflammation, post-race letdown, personal development, depression, asthma, poor immune system, language acquisition, athletic training, scoliosis, what else does it say? Back and neck pain, pregnancy, arthritis, accelerated learning, promoting spinal and structural alignment, bad circulation, and it helps with creativity. So I'll give him a call after the show. Well, we finished.
Yeah.
And I'll also give his contact details to you, because you love people on your Friday show that just, you introduce them and they just chat everybody's ears off.
Makes my life so much easier.
I know. I've been to so many breakfast business meetings with Mark Smethurst, and I just love his passion for what he does. And I love people who really get very excited about what they do. So he loves the way I talk about the way I help people with teaching or with treatment. And I really, you know, we both really like the way that we talk, because we're really passionate at finding our bliss, basically.
Brilliant. Yeah. So
That sounds all right.
Come along if we can get it sorted out.
I'm hoping so.
Come along on Friday and enjoy the live recording of that.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Annie, and thank you
very much, my
Andrew.
pleasure. Thank you for the lovely, lovely Saturday lunch, and for visiting Elowen and hailing Dean on Saturday and seeing some more beautiful, remarkable trees.
It was a very, very lovely day, Annie. Thank you.
It was just what we needed, wasn't it?
Right, let's wind it up for now. Thanks everyone for coming. Thank you for those who are going to be watching later on YouTube.
Yep.
Please do like, share and subscribe, because it helps us reach more people.
Yep.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bye-bye.